Imagine for a moment that everything you've been through, every struggle, every triumph, every moment of doubt has been leading you to this very point right now. There is a voice calling out to you. It's not just any voice. It's the voice of something greater, something beyond this world. It's the voice of God, and he's calling you home. You felt it, haven't you? That deep stirring in your soul, that feeling that there's something more, something bigger than yourself. That's not just your imagination. That's a divine invitation. An invitation to step into the life you were truly meant to live. An invitation to let go of fear, to rise above the noise, and to finally embrace the purpose that has been waiting for you all along. But here's the truth. God doesn't just call the prepared, he prepares the called. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to say yes. Because when you answer that call, when you step into that power, everything changes. The weight you've been carrying, it lifts. The doubt that's been holding you back, it fades. And the path that once seemed unclear, it becomes undeniable. This is your moment. This is your time. God is calling you home, not just to eternity, but to the purpose, the passion, and the power he created you for. The only question is, are you ready to answer? There's a reason you're here. There's a reason you've felt the pull, the whisper in your soul that tells you there's something more. It's not just a fleeting thought or a random feeling. It's a calling, a divine invitation. God has placed a purpose within you, something unique, something powerful, something the world desperately needs. And he's been speaking to you, guiding you, even in the moments when you didn't realize it. Think about it. How many times have you felt like something was missing? How many times have you looked around and known deep in your core that you were made for more? That's not coincidence. That's not just wishful thinking. That's God's hand on your life. That's him nudging you, stirring something inside of you that can't be ignored. And the more you listen, the more you lean into it, the louder it gets. But here's what holds most people back. Fear. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear that they're not good enough, not ready, not worthy. Let me tell you something. God doesn't call the perfect, he calls the willing. He doesn't ask for your perfection, he asks for your obedience. When he places a dream, a vision, a mission inside of you, he also gives you everything you need to fulfill it. But you have to take the step. You have to say yes. Too many people live their entire lives ignoring the call. They distract themselves. They bury their potential under excuses, under doubt, under the weight of what the world tells them they should be. But the truth is, you were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to live in the shadows of hesitation. You were meant to rise, to step up, to claim the life you were designed for. And it starts the moment you stop fighting it and start believing it. God's plan for you isn't small, it isn't average, it isn't ordinary, it's extraordinary, but you have to trust him. You have to trust that the pull you feel is leading you somewhere greater. You have to trust that even when you can't see the full picture, he already has it painted. Every hardship, every setback, every moment that felt like a failure, it was all part of preparing you. Nothing has been wasted, not a single experience. And so right now, in this very moment, you have a choice. You can keep living in fear, keep questioning whether you're ready, keep waiting for the perfect moment, or you can decide that this is the moment, that you will no longer ignore the call, that you will step into the purpose God has placed inside of you, that you will stop playing small and start living with the fire, the passion, and the faith that has been inside you all along. Because God is calling you home, not just to eternity, but to the life you were meant to live. And it's time to answer every single moment of your life. Every challenge, every victory, every setback has been shaping you for something greater. Nothing you have experienced has been wasted. The struggles, the heartbreak, the moments when you felt like giving up, they were all part of the process, part of the preparation for the person you are meant to become. You may not see it yet, but God sees it. He knows exactly what he's doing in your life, even when you don't understand it. Think about the toughest moments you faced, the times when you thought you wouldn't make it through, the nights when you cried out wondering why you had to endure so much pain, but you're still here. You survived what you thought would break you. And because of that, you're stronger. You're wiser. You're more prepared than you've ever been. What felt like a setback was actually a setup. What felt like rejection was actually redirect. Every trial has been molding you, shaping you, refining you for something greater than you can imagine. God doesn't waste pain. He doesn't allow struggles just for the sake of them. He allows them to build you, to strengthen you, to prepare you for the blessings he has in store. Sometimes we want the reward without the preparation, the success without the struggle. But real growth, real strength, real transformation comes through fire. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is refined in the heat. And your purpose is revealed in the challenges that test you the most. When things don't go as planned, it's easy to feel like you're off track, like maybe you made a wrong turn somewhere. But understand this, nothing is outside of God's plan. Even when it feels like you're lost, you're exactly where you need to be. Every experience, every lesson, every moment of pain is preparing you for the doors that are about to open. You may not understand why it's happening, but trust that it's leading you somewhere greater. Too often, people give up just before their breakthrough. They let the weight of their struggles convince them that they aren't meant for more. But what if the very thing you're going through right now is the key to unlocking your destiny? What if the challenges you're facing today are shaping you into the person who can handle the blessings coming tomorrow? What if instead of resisting, you leaned in and embraced the journey, knowing that it's preparing you for something beyond what you could ever ask or imagine? This is your moment to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing obstacles as roadblocks, see them as stepping stones. Instead of feeling defeated, recognize that you are being strengthened. Instead of questioning why it's happening, trust that it's happening for you, not to you. God is not just guiding you, he is preparing you. And when the time is right, when you are ready, when you have been shaped into the person you were always meant to be, everything will fall into place. Fear is one of the most powerful forces that can hold you back from stepping into the life you were meant to live. It whispers lies in your ear, telling you that you're not good enough, that you don't have what it takes, that you'll fail if you try. Fear paralyzes, keeps you stuck, and convinces you to settle for less than what you were created for. But here's the truth. Fear is an illusion. It only has as much power as you allow it to have. God did not create you to live in fear. He did not place dreams inside of you just to watch you shrink away from them. He placed them there because he knew you were meant to fulfill them. When he calls you to something greater, he already knows the obstacles you'll face. He knows the challenges, the doubts, the resistance you'll encounter. And yet, he still calls you forward. Why? Because he has already equipped you with everything you need to overcome. You may not feel ready. You may feel like you're lacking the resources, the knowledge, the confidence. But God doesn't call the ready. He makes the called ready. He doesn't wait until you have everything figured out before he starts working in your life. He calls you while you're still unsure, while you're still in the process, while you're still growing. Because faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting that he does. Look at the people in history who accomplished great things. None of them started with perfect conditions. They faced struggles, setbacks, moments where fear tried to stop them, but they moved forward anyway. They trusted the process. They understood that faith is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move despite it. And that is what you must do. When God calls you, he is not asking if you feel ready. He is asking if you are willing to trust him. Faith is a choice. It's a choice to believe that you are capable, not because of your own strength, but because of the one who is guiding you. It's a choice to step forward even when the path is unclear. It's a choice to silence the doubt and listen to the voice of truth that says, I have called you, I have chosen you, and I will equip you. So what are you waiting for? Fear will always try to stop you. It will always give you reasons to delay, to hesitate, to second guess yourself. But faith gives you the power to rise above it, to take action, to trust that even when you don't see the whole picture, God is leading you exactly where you need to be. This is your moment. Will you let fear hold you back, or will you step forward in faith, knowing that everything you need is already inside you? God has called you. Now it's time to trust him and step into the life you were meant to live. So many people go through life fighting battles they were never meant to fight. They resist, they struggle, they try to control every outcome, thinking that if they just push hard enough, they can force things to work in their favor. But have you ever noticed that the more you try to control everything, the more exhausted you become? That's because you were never meant to carry that burden alone. You were never meant to do it all in your own strength. True power, true peace comes from surrender. Surrendering to God's will doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean sitting back and waiting for life to happen to you. It means trusting that his plan is greater than yours. It means understanding that no matter how much you plan, how much you strategize, how much you try to force things, there will always be moments where things don't go the way you expect. And in those moments, you have a choice. You can resist, fight, and wear yourself down, or you can lean into faith, let go of control, and trust that he is leading you exactly where you need to be. Look at the greatest breakthroughs in your life. Chances are they didn't come from your own perfect planning. They came when you least expected it. They came when doors opened that you never could have forced open yourself. They came when you finally stopped resisting, when you let go of your own limited vision and allowed God to work in ways far beyond what you could imagine. There is strength in surrender. It takes courage to say, God, I trust you even when I don't understand. It takes boldness to release control, to step into the unknown, to believe that even in the middle of uncertainty, you are exactly where you are meant to be. But when you do, something incredible happens. The weight lifts. The anxiety fades. The pressure to figure everything out disappears because you realize you were never meant to do it alone in the first place. God's plan for your life is bigger than anything you could ever dream up on your own. But you have to be willing to let go of your plan to step into his. You have to be willing to trust that even the detours, even the disappointments, even the things that don't make sense right now are all part of something greater. You have to be willing to release the struggle and embrace the flow of his divine purpose. So stop resisting. Stop holding on to things that were never meant for you. Stop fighting battles that are only draining your energy. Lean in, surrender. Step into the peace that comes from knowing that God's got you. He's never failed you, and he's not about to start now. When you surrender to his will, you don't lose control. You gain a power far greater than anything you could ever achieve on your own. There comes a moment in life when you have to ask yourself, what kind of impact am I going to leave? Too many people drift through life, caught in routines, consumed by temporary distractions, and playing it safe. They live small, afraid to take risks, afraid to stand out, afraid to embrace the power inside them. But you were not created for that. You were not made to simply exist. You were made to leave a mark. Deep down, you know this. You've felt it, that pull inside you, that restless energy, that desire to do something meaningful. That's not just a passing thought. It's your purpose trying to break free. It's God calling you to step up. He didn't place you here to live an average life, to settle for mediocrity, to keep your head down and play small. He placed you here to create, to inspire, to lead, to make a difference. But here's the thing, impact doesn't happen by accident. Legacy isn't built by sitting on the sidelines. If you want to leave a mark, you have to make a decision. You have to commit to something bigger than yourself. You have to take action even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's scary, even when you don't feel ready. Because no one who ever changed the world started off feeling ready. They just decided. Fear will try to keep you stuck. It will whisper, who are you to think you can make a difference? What if you fail? What if you're not good enough? But here's the truth. Your impact isn't about being perfect. It's not about waiting for the right moment. It's about showing up. It's about answering the call with boldness. Think about the people who inspire you most. The ones who have changed lives, who have made history, who have left behind a legacy. Do you think they were fearless? No. They felt fear just like you do. The difference is they didn't let fear stop them. They felt the fear and moved forward anyway. They understood that playing small serves no one, that hiding their gifts helps no one, that their calling was bigger than their doubt. And now it's your turn. What will your story be? Will you look back on your life knowing that you gave everything, that you used your gifts, that you pushed through the fear, that you answered the call? Or will you look back with regret, knowing that you let doubt, hesitation, and excuses keep you from stepping into your true potential? This is your moment. Right now, you get to choose. Will you let fear hold you back, or will you step forward with courage? Will you live small, or will you embrace the greatness within you? Because the world needs what only you can bring, your gifts, your voice, your light. And the only way to truly live is to step boldly into the purpose you were created for. Answer the call, leave your mark, and make sure that when your story is told, it's one of impact, passion, and undeniable faith. Everything in your life is unfolding exactly as it should. Every moment, every delay, every closed door is happening in divine timing. But too often, we fight against it. We rush, we panic, we stress over the future, convinced that we should be further along, that things should be happening faster, that we should already have the answers. But what if I told you that where you are right now is exactly where you need to be? What if I told you that everything is happening in perfect alignment, even if you can't see it yet? We live in a world that glorifies speed. We're told that success should be instant, and if things aren't happening fast enough, we must be doing something wrong. But God doesn't work on human timelines. He works on His timing, and His timing is never wrong. That job you didn't get, that relationship that didn't work out, that opportunity that passed you by, it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't rejection. It was redirection. It was protection. It was preparation for something bigger, something better, something that aligns with the purpose He has for you. Look back at your life for a moment. How many times did you want something so badly, only to realize later that if you had received it at that time, you wouldn't have been ready for it? How many times did things not go your way only to find out that what was waiting for you was far greater than what you had planned? That's the power of divine timing. When you trust it, when you surrender to it, you stop forcing things that aren't meant for you. You stop rushing ahead and start allowing life to unfold the way it was always meant to. But trusting in divine timing doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It doesn't mean waiting passively, hoping for a miracle. It means showing up every single day with faith, with discipline, with action. Knowing that when the time is right, everything will fall into place. Your job is not to control the timing. Your job is to prepare yourself, to do the inner work, to develop the strength, the resilience, and the mindset needed for the blessings that are on their way. Because when your moment comes, when the door opens, when the opportunity arrives, you need to be ready. You need to be the person who can handle it, who can sustain it, who won't waste the blessing that you've been waiting for. And that's why you're in this season. That's why things may feel slow. That's why you might feel stuck. Not because you've been forgotten, but because you're being prepared. There is no wasted time in God's plan. Every challenge, every delay, every not yet is shaping you into the person you're meant to be. So stop rushing, stop doubting, stop questioning whether you're behind. You are exactly where you need to be. Trust that, believe that, and when the time is right, nothing will stop what's meant for you. You've been in darkness long enough. You've spent too much time doubting yourself, questioning your worth, and wondering if you're truly meant for something greater. The struggle, the pain, the confusion, it's all been part of your journey, but it is not where you are meant to stay. It's time to walk in faith. It's time to step into the life God has been calling you toward. For too long, you've allowed fear to dictate your steps. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. You've played small, held yourself back, convinced yourself that maybe you weren't ready, that maybe you weren't qualified. But listen to me, God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. And He is calling you right now. He is telling you that it's time to rise. It's time to shake off the past, to release the weight of your doubts, and to embrace the destiny that has been waiting for you all along. God's calling isn't just about the life after this one. He's not just calling you home in eternity. He's calling you into purpose right now. He's calling you to live boldly, to love fearlessly, to move forward with unwavering faith. He didn't create you to merely exist, to go through the motions, to live in mediocrity. He created you with a divine mission, with a unique purpose, and with everything you need already inside of you. But you have to answer the call. You have to be willing to let go of the comfort of what's familiar. You have to stop waiting for the perfect moment and create the moment. Because the truth is, the perfect time will never come. The circumstances will never feel just right. There will always be challenges, always be obstacles, always be reasons to wait. But faith doesn't wait for conditions to be perfect. Faith moves despite the condition. Faith steps forward even when the path isn't clear. You may feel like you've been wandering, like you've been stuck in the same cycle, like you've been searching for answers that never seem to come. But maybe the answer isn't in waiting for a sign. Maybe the answer is in trusting that the time is now. Maybe the reason you feel unsettled, the reason you feel a fire inside you that won't go away is because your soul knows you were made for more. And that more isn't something distant. It's right in front of you, waiting for you to claim it. God's voice has been whispering to you in the quiet moments, in the stillness of the night, in the moments when you feel a nudge in your heart that you can't quite explain. That's not coincidence. That's not your imagination. That's Him. That's His way of saying, my child, it's time. So what will you do? Will you keep waiting? Will you keep telling yourself that someday you'll step into your purpose, that someday you'll have the courage, that someday you'll be ready? Or will you decide that today's the day, that no matter what obstacles stand in your way, no matter what doubts try to creep in, you will walk in faith? Because God is calling you home, home to Him. Home to your true self, home to the life of meaning, impact, and purpose that He created you for. The question is, will you answer?